Well, hello, Jonesy here, and welcome to another episode of Aussie Bikers. We have some great bikes, rides, and guests on the show today. We're going to be getting an update on the new racetrack that's in development in Bathurst. What bike's back at Bathurst? What next? Helmet exemptions? We check out the Kawasaki Vulcan S. We're going to ride through the Himalayas as well. I'm looking forward to seeing that. We'll find out why Warren was the odd man out in the most recent Aussie Trikers episode, and we're going to have a supermodel right here in the studio. Kate Peck will be joining us as well. But first, we're taking a trip down one of the best riding roads in Australia with our new roving reporter. Make him welcome, Kosta Karis. Check it out.
As motorcyclists, we really are sport for choice with spectacular alpine roads such as the Stelvio, the Transfiguration, the Grossglockner and Pikes Peak, just to name a few. The sheer size of the world's mountains means there's an abundance of twisty alpine roads ready for your motorcycling enjoyment. On the other side of the world in Australia, unfortunately, we don't have an abundance of alpine roads. But what we do have heaps of is spectacular coastline. In fact, there's 36,000 kilometres of the stuff, so surely within this vast number, there has to be a magnificent motorcycling road somewhere along the way. Of course there is, and it's called the Great Ocean Road. Now, even though it seems like a very basic name, that's where the simplicity ends and the brilliant engineering and pure motorcycling enjoyment begins. Over the next 200 kilometres, this road hugs a spectacular and dramatic coastline where you can enjoy riding alongside the bluest of oceans, golden sand beaches, through lush dense rainforests, and to top it all off, finish up at a humbling work of art by Mother Nature. It is for all these amazing factors, and with good reason, it is one of the world's greatest riding roads. So great in fact, you must ride it. Go on, chop chop, put it on your bucket list. So, what's bad about the Great Ocean Road? Well, it's an incredible road and therefore an incredibly popular destination. So, my biggest tip is to avoid peak periods to avoid the amount of traffic. Sundays feel like you're in a computer game. Ideally, it'd be great to have the whole thing to yourself, and with a little bit of proper planning, that can happen. Another danger are the spectacular views. They are a huge distraction, so keep your eyes on the road at all times. Another obvious tip is to stop frequently. The most breathtaking views reveal themselves after every corner, so you find yourself stopping every few kilometres. It's exactly why it takes so long to ride it in its entirety. One stop you must make, not only to absorb the views or admire the colour of the water, but also to say a very big thanks to not only those who built the road, but more so the reason why it was built. The Great Ocean Road is the world's biggest war memorial, and even though it's free, it only takes a minute of your time to stop and pay your respects. So then, have you ridden the Great Ocean Road? If you haven't, then why not? If you have, then why not again? If you need any more encouragement, I'll leave you with the jewel in the crown, the icing on top of the cake, a treat of nature so spectacular you'll be lost in its beauty. As a way of saying thanks for stopping by, Mother Nature rewards you with the magic of the 12 Apostles. Finally, after an incredible day of riding, and once you've taken it all in, the road, the views, the wildlife, and the 12 Apostles, there is one last treat. How could today possibly get any better? You simply turn around, and that means you get to do it all over again.
That's great, thanks Kosta. Head on over to Kosta's YouTube channel, Moto Passport, for his full report. Next, we're going to take a look at a bike from Kawasaki. It has ninja-derived power and performance, but it's a cruiser. It's the Vulcan S. Let's find out some more.
The Vulcan S is a superb twin-cylinder, 650cc learner-approved cruiser-style motorcycle. One of the philosophies behind many of the Kawasaki learner bikes when they are building and designing them is that it's easy to ride and fun to ride. To make something easy to ride, it needs to turn, go, stop, all the basics. With the Vulcan S, the way they've achieved that is to have the right wheelbase that will turn very easily in and out, having the handlebars set to where it suits you, getting your levers in the right place, and the right amount of power. So it is a little bit of a power cruiser. It's got a nice amount of low-end grunt to it, so it'll take off easily from the lights and you get a bit of a grin as you do that. The Vulcan S is a great choice for a learner due to its low centre of gravity, very easy to ride, very fun to ride. Integration of ABS with riders is a really nice feature. Gear position indicators so you can see which gear you're in. So very simple things that make it easy for a learner to know what they're doing. To find the right fit for yourself, we are introducing into some of our dealerships the ErgoFit stations. These will be limited around Australia, but you'll be able to try some different seats. So we can have a shorter reach seat, bring you forward, standard seat, extended reach seat for the taller rider. You can also move your foot pegs as well, so into different positions. That'll mean you're sitting in a more relaxed position and you'll find riding much easier, more comfortable. It comes as a single seat bike, which works really well for our customers, especially in Queensland and single seat registration. And when you're a learner, you're not really meant to be having a pillion on the back. So what you can do instead is actually put a rack onto the rear fender. You can put a rear bag onto that fender. You can get some really nice saddlebags that are quick release. So if you're going touring on the weekend, put the bags on, commuting during the week, pop them off and put them away in the garage. We've also got tank bags, there's lights, all sorts of accessories available for this bike to kit it up for proper touring or for commuting. For 2019, the Vulcan S is available in 3 different colours and 2 different styles. So the standard Vulcan S is available in a black and also a special edition khaki type colour. And there is the Vulcan S Cafe, which is in a beautiful yellowish orange kind of colour with a nice little screen to deflect a bit of wind away. There's some beautiful highlight graphics on it. If you're looking for a cruiser style motorcycle, please have a look at the Kawasaki Vulcan S. Pop down to your Kawasaki dealership, sit on one today, try it out.
Each year, the Brotherhood Christian Motorcycle Club hosts the Bathurst Bike Show, and it just keeps getting bigger and better. The show was conceived to put motorcycling back on the map in Bathurst and to encourage the local council to bring back racing to the mountain. Well, it's all happening. Let's check out this year's event and get an update on the new track from the mayor himself.
We're in Russell Street, Bathurst, which is the street right in the centre of Bathurst, just outside the council chambers and the courthouse and everything. Probably twice as many trade stalls and bikes from last year, so the event keeps on growing. And yeah, really successful, has a really nice vibe about it. Lots of people walking through with their kids, with their families, looking at the bikes and just enjoying themselves.
It's been a fantastic day. You know, we're doing the regos this morning and we had 116 bikes come in and register. Had to knock a few back because they were still coming and we had to stop to do the judging, otherwise it would never happen.
Big variety of bikes from, you know, postie bikes, some historic, right through to some very significant engineering and custom bikes. Just a really good cross-section of motorcycling.
Quite a few sports bikes, lots of daily rides, and probably the thing that struck me most was the high standard of bikes. I was involved in doing a little bit of the judging, and it was really hard to distinguish between some of the bikes because of the high standard. Some old bikes that have been restored really well, been looked after for a long time.
There was people coming from everywhere and the spirit of the event was really good. I mean, you know, we had lots of different clubs were represented, lots of different social clubs, and, you know, lots of vendors that came out this year. I mean, just every year that we do it here in Bathurst, the local community just responds so well, and every year it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mate, this event has really taken off, and this is going to be a good event from years to come. The town's welcome everybody here. Let's bring the bikes back to Bathurst. As you can see, Shannon's has bought the big truck here. This travels all around Australia. It goes to a lot of the country towns to support little events like this. We carry 2 simulators here. It's a purpose-built display truck. We carry a bit of memorabilia, touch screens, so you can watch some different episodes we've done. We took the fiberglass shell of an effigy and made it into this. Duck over, say hello, give us some details, and we'll arrange a quote for you, so your pride and joy is well covered.
The council have been really supportive of this show, so the mayor's very supportive of what we do, of having bikes in Bathurst, of bringing people to Bathurst. He wants the best for his town, and that's one of the ways of doing it.
The second circuit at Bathurst, Apex Circuit Design, a UK company, is right at the moment in the process of designing the second track, and it will be FIA and FIM approved. It will do bikes right up to and including MotoGP and that sort of thing.
Talking to some of the people who've been involved in that design process, the designers reckon that the new site is probably one of the best ones they've seen. This is an international firm, and they really like what they see in terms of just the underlying topography of where the racetrack's going to be, and I think it's going to be an excellent track for both riders and for viewers.
It'll be about 4.5 kilometres, 4.7 kilometres, and it'll be undulating, and it's over the back of the main circuit that's there now. Won't be a wheel on the track for a couple of years, but it really will happen, and the bikes will be back to Bathurst.
Right around Mount Panorama, it's never a bad ride. It's always a good street to run on.
It was good going around the mountain. You just get that little buzz in your stomach. It's like you want to open up the throttle, but you know you can't.
60k's a little bit slow.
The police were there just keeping an eye on everyone, but no, it was a good day. Everyone had fun, and yeah, we did a couple of laps.
Especially with a group of like-minded people. I think we had a great big trail of bikes and trikes, and it just really adds to the whole spectacle of it. It's just great.
I came last year for the first time, and it was quite a large event. Well, this year's bigger, and I think every year's going to just keep growing and growing and growing.
Hats off to the organisers, just fantastic day. I urge anyone who can get out here to come out. It's just a great family day.
And in the studio now, we have a supermodel that rides Kate Peck from Channel 10's RPM. Welcome along to Aussie Bikers.
Thank you very much, Jonesy. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'd like to start with an apology.
Oh, you should always stop.
I misjudged you as a rider. And I learnt this when we worked together on RPM. We were to go away for an adventure riding course. And I remember thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to keep up with Stephen Gore or Anthony Gunter. These guys are super motocross champions of the past. But this supermodel girl, Kate Peck, girl.
Piece of cake.
There was a point there where we left the tarmac onto the dirt and you guys were gone. You guys, when I mean gone, like gone. And I'd be killing myself to catch up. And I'd get to a point where I couldn't even see your dust anymore. And then I'd pull up and you'd be under a tree with your helmet off, just sort of filing your nails. But look, where did you learn to ride like that?
Yeah, so I originally had a scooter. I was living in Sydney, and then Dad and Vin, my stepmom, were riding around the world every year or every second year all year. Mm-hmm. And they said, we're going to Africa. We'll get you a bike if you want to come along. And so I had to learn how to ride a normal motorcycle fairly quickly, and then headed over to Africa, and I had a KLR 650.
But I look at you managed to relive this dual life. On one hand, you're riding motorbikes like a demon, and then I see you walking red carpets and stuff like that.
It's a good variety, a bit of fashion. So I started with modelling, and then got fired from a lot of jobs. So worked out that television was going to be my thing, but also at the same time worked out that I really enjoyed motorcycle riding as
Yeah.
well. So, both those two passions kind of kicked off at the same time. But it's a glamorous lifestyle being a model. Jonesy, you know what it's like. You walk the red carpet every day.
Constantly. You should see my blue steel.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I've seen it.
You're a BMW fan.
Yes.
You love the Beamers.
Love the Beamers.
And you're riding today. I love that. I love what you're riding today.
Got my R9T
Yep.
Spezial. It's pretty new to the country actually. I think it just came in at the start of 2019. I'm like, what year?
Yeah.
2019. So it's Spezial. Spezial. Yeah. So it's 1200cc boxer engine, heated hand grips, which is very important.
The Germans.
The Germans. They know what they're doing.
It doesn't have a heated seat.
It doesn't have a heated seat.
I don't know about the heated seat. It always feels like you've done something.
It's kind
of
warm and nice though. It's a bit of a hug for your bum.
Who doesn't need a hug
Who
for their bum?
Exactly, when you're out there off-road in the cold and you just want a little bit of a hug for your bum.
You're on RPM and you follow the V8 supercar circuit a fair bit?
It's kind of like the ultimate gig. I get to follow the supercars, so we do the major rounds. It's about 5 rounds that we do. Of course, Bathurst, which is epic. But then I also get to do off-road riding, adventure riding, stunt riding and driving and track days and rally car driving and navigating, and I kind of get to do everything on RPM. So it's a really good variety, and the point of all my stories is to have fun.
Good.
They just say you go out there and you have a good time.
Now, what I like about you is you've come here today. It's pouring rain, not a shred of wet weather gear, but you've managed to look like.
Oh, I couldn't be bothered.
I've had to give
honest.
this poor little urchin a cup of tea.
My little gold hands and fingers. You know how much of a pain it is to get your wet weather gear? It was like half an hour here, 40 minutes here. I was like, I'll just get wet.
I'm just going to get wet.
Yeah, I'll just deal with it. I'll suck it up. I feel like I'm a bit of a wuss anyway.
I can lend you a garbage bag.
Oh, that'd be nice. That's what actually, when I go travelling with my parents to third world countries and stuff, we put these big fat garbage bags around our boots, which look atrocious, but they get the job done.
Bad if you're riding a Harley, because then you've just got a shrinky dink.
Yeah, exactly.
Kate, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Look out for this lady, Kate Peck. You'll know her dust.
Yes.
Believe me, I've seen it.
Yeah, you know my dust well.
So no doubt you saw the Aussie Trikers story across America that we ran on last episode of Aussie Bikers, but did you notice that lone wolf, that lone rider out by himself? That was Warren. He was riding around on a Heritage Softail. Why was Warren not riding a trike? Well, it's an amazing story. Here it is.
It was a little difficult at first because everyone's got their trikes, and I was really a passenger for the first 3 or 4 or 5 days, and then there was the option of me looking around and getting a Harley. So I picked up a 2009 Heritage Softail, done about 22,000 kilometres, just been serviced, paid $6,000 US for it, and it was a really good bike, and it hasn't missed a beat. What it did, it allowed some freedom. The guys are saying, all right, we're heading off here, and their program was structured where I could just take off and say, all right, I'll see you there tonight, and just have a really good time in the back roads of Nebraska or Kansas or wherever, and I really enjoyed it. A real feeling of freedom, and and I recommend that. I really recommend that. I was thinking of taking it back to Australia, but I think I'll keep it here with my son's brother-in-law who lives in Indiana. I'll leave it there, and then I can come over next year or whatever and just continue on.
I always get envy when I see Mike and Denise. Here they are, just travelling the world on a motorcycle, and they've taken us to some amazing places. But where did it all start off? Well, it started off at the Himalayas, and Mike and Denise take us back there.
Everything started in the Himalayas for you, didn't it? And now you're still running a trip there after all these years.
Yeah, the Himalayan heights is where it all started. I discovered more or less by accident the route that we now do on a regular basis, our Himalayan Heights tour. And we now still run pretty much that same program many, many years later. We do the highest road in the world, which is in the Indian Himalayan region of Kashmir.
How do people feel when they get up the top there?
It's a very popular destination these days. The highest road in the world is 5,600 metres. As you might imagine, when people get to the top of the Kadungla, as it's known, they're a bit short on breath but high on exhilaration. There's usually high fives and a little bit of a yahoo. Not many places in the world offer the opportunity to travel to 5,000 metres and beyond on a motorcycle.
And to get there, we've come across the 3 other highest passes in the world. So, you know, there's an enormous sense of achievement to finally be at the pinnacle. Quite frankly, you just feel invincible. You can do anything.
And one thing I remember from when I did it with you guys was the trip back down with the engine off. And was it 37 kilometres? If you get it right, you don't have to start your engine for 37 kilometres till you get to the bottom.
Yeah, take off from the top with a bit of a run up, find angel gear, kick it into neutral, turn the ignition off and sit back and see how far you can go.
What did you first think of a Royal Enfield when you rode one?
I had nothing else to gauge it by because I'd never been on any other motorcycle in my life, so I jumped on an Enfield and I thought, this is fantastic.
What an introduction to motorcycles.
It's the most powerful thing on the planet.
I've got to say it's exactly the right pace for going up through those mountains, which are got to be one of the most spectacular places in the world. The views are sensational.
Absolutely. Around every corner is a new vista.
The Enfield certainly is an integral part of that tour. It adds to the specialness of it. You kind of putt slowly up those hills and down the other side, but it gets you up there reliably and down the other side, and there's just an enormous sense of majesty, not like anywhere else in the world, and it doesn't matter how many times we've both been there, it never diminishes.
Well, there it is, another episode of Aussie Bikers. If you miss us, why don't you go to aussiebikers.com. You've got photos, you've got events, you've got videos, you've got trolley, discussions. It's all there. Until next time, you take it easy. Shiny side up.